Just to kick this video off, I wanted to say thank you for the support in recent weeks. The channel is slowly but surely growing, and I believe that every subscriber is a little bit easier to get, so those of you taking a chance on the channel early, I really appreciate it. Anyway, enough from me, on to Gamin. Ciryl Gane has risen to the top of the MMA world in less than 3 years. The fastest I have ever seen, and that's by no accident. Gane began his fighting career in Muay Thai, making his professional debut in 2016. In 2 years and 4 days, Ciryl had achieved everything he wanted to in the sport, going 7-0, including beating Jairzinho Rozenstruik, the current top-ranked heavyweight Muay Thai fighter in the world. Gane's MMA debut came against Bobby Sullivan, a talented amateur knockout artist who had recently gone 1-1 since his professional MMA debut. The fight was featured on the UFC Fight Pass under Canadian promotion TKO Major Leagues MMA for their heavyweight title. Gane rocked Sullivan with 2 big right hands early on before shooting a perfectly timed takedown into side control. After some subsequent ground and pound, Bobby Sullivan rolled over, giving up his neck and being choked out by Gane in the first round. Gane's first defense came against Adam Dijkska, a 7-0 professional finishing all of his opponents by knockout. After breaking Adam down in round 1, Ciryl put him away just before the end of the second round. 3 months before his first round submission of the undefeated Rafael Pessoa in his UFC debut, Gane headlined TKO 48 against Rogers Souza. Gane struck freely from the outside, coming in with bombs. If you want to see some terrible refereeing in MMA, this fight was a classic example. Souza was out on his feet for almost 2 minutes, refusing to go away, before eventually going out to ground and pound late in the first. What's so impressive about Gane is the fact that he was thrown in the deep end of MMA right at the start of his career. His 5th fight came against fellow heavyweight prospect Dante Myers, who had won 4 fights back-to-back after losing his Contender Series debut. After an initial 10-8 round, the second round was slowed by some groundwork, where Dante finally found some defensive success, although Gane was still controlling the position. After Gane continued to deal damage to a tired Myers' body, you could see Myers mentally start to break as he looked towards the clock for the fight to end. After crumpling a tired and damaged Dontel Myers in the corner of the cage, Gane submitted him with a heel hook within 14 seconds of the end of the fight. Gane's next fight came against Tanner Boser, a fast-moving heavyweight with good combinations. Most of the fight was spent on the outside as Gane patiently waited to explode. Boser found some success in close range with his combinations and proved that he does belong in the UFC. But Gane was the better fighter all round, landing multiple big shots that stunned Tanner throughout the fight, even earning himself a 10-8 round in the third. Following the win, Gane struggled to lock down a fight, having trouble with opponents pulling out due to injuries or contract issues. After almost a year out of the octagon, the UFC rewarded Gane with heavyweight legend Junior Dos Santos. The fight was short, with Gane retiring the UFC legend with a controversial elbow after stunning him from a jab. Ciryl Gane's next draw came against Jairzinho Rozenstruik in his first UFC main event. Gane went for his usual tactic, looking to pick his shots while Rozenstruik stayed loaded up, waiting for Gane to make a mistake. Rozenstruik was kept at bay by Cyryl's activity, and when Rozenstruik did explode, Gane would duck in and attempt a takedown or simply tie him up in the clinch. After 5 slow rounds, Gane executed his game plan successfully, taking home all 5. But Gamin was then offered the opportunity to move into a title eliminator against former Bellator champ Alexander Volkov. While Gane's rise to the top of the UFC had been fast, Volkov had been grinding away, with this event coming as his 10th fight in the UFC. Although Volkov has over 5 times the MMA fights, Gane's balance of power, stamina, and technique proved too much for the top heavyweight. In the first round, the 2 men felt each other out, providing a taste of what was to come. The second round brought a lift in aggression, as both men added more sting to their punches. But Gane was able to keep Volkov on the back foot, often catching him with a big punch as he stepped in. By the third round, the momentum had started to shift towards Gane, as he began to fight more flat-footed, which allowed him to unload with combinations as Volkov began to shy away from exchanges. Gane continued to use his feints to create openings, keeping Volkov at bay and continuing to land throughout the 4th. Volkov came out in the 5th round with his team believing it was 2 rounds each. Gane continued to control the round, keeping the center of the octagon and winning in the pocket. The contest would finish again with Gane winning all 5 rounds. pushing himself into an interim title fight with the Black Beast. Gane is yet to lose a round in professional MMA. To me, Gane resembles a heavyweight Adesanya, who will pick you apart from the outside and land vicious counters in the pocket. Although his wrestling still needs work similar to Adesanya's, his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has caused some top-level opponents issues already, proving that he is a threat on the ground. On top of those factors, Ciryl Gane is a physical specimen, with a large and powerful physique and the longest reach in the UFC heavyweight top 5. Derrick Lewis is by far one of my favourite fighters, but I believe if Gane can stay away from Derrick's undeniable power, he can go all the way to the title, which creates an interesting storyline as both Ciryl Gane and champion Francis Ngannou have trained out of MMA Factory, France's top MMA gym, under the same head coach Fernand Lopez before Francis found his own team in America. What a matchup this might be.